let's go through the schedule. We got 6 primetime games. Here are the primetime games. We start up Monday Night Football, September 9th against the Jets. So that's primetime for both those, 6 and 6. That's what we're starting off with. The next primetime game is at Seattle again. Man, the NFL hates Seattle. And it sucks because the Seattle Faithful group, led by Alex, one of the best, chapters out there in the world, and they've gotten Thursday game, Thursday game, Thursday game. It just sucks because it's what it is. We'll be there for that one, guaranteed. But that's October 10th at Seattle. So that's your number 2 primetime game. It's a division game. 3 years in a row, we played on a short week. It's weird in Seattle. Then 2 weeks after that, October 27th, Sunday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. You know what sucks about that is Cowboys coming off a bye. We are not. We're coming off the Chiefs, and then we get to stay home. So that's the good thing for the 49ers. You got back-to-back home games. You got Chiefs and Cowboys. So October 10th, Thursday Night Football, Seattle. 2 weeks later, October 27th, Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys. And again, October, worst month for Kyle Shanahan is every single year. Can't do that this year because October is Arizona, Seattle, back-to-back divisional games, then Chiefs, Dallas. You got to do well. And again, you're playing the Cowboys coming off a bye week. Then you get your bye week, November 3rd. Sunday Night Football at Buffalo, December 1st. Guess what? They're coming off a bye week. It's going to be a theme. So you play the Cowboys off a bye week on primetime. Then you're playing the Bills on the road all the way across the country off a bye week. And we're coming from off the road Green Bay. So we're at Green Bay, then we're at Buffalo. Meanwhile, they're just chilling at home for a week. And schedule's never fair for everybody. And we'll break down the NFC West and our opponents and all that stuff and rest days. We'll get all that figured out. Then we got a Rams game, December 12th, Thursday Night Football. That's going to be fun. So December 12th, Thursday Night Football gets the Rams. So that's the weird thing. 2 of your most important divisional games are on Thursdays. I hate that. But it does give you a mini bye heading into, the last 3 games of the season, which is nice. And then you've got the Monday Night Football game versus Detroit. That's week 17, second to last week of the season. That's going to be fun because that's going to determine seeding. I mean, it's probably going to play a role. If it was like this year, though, probably not going to matter near as much. Will the Niners kind of run away with things like they have in the past? We'll see. And we'll see how that goes. Sin, what's up, Sin? How are you? Hopefully I get to hang out with you and see you and perhaps Joe again this year. Sin's the best. She always comes out. Yeah, she says, I thought the games were picked by AI. So the process is crazy. It takes several months. The teams you play are allocated by where you finish. So you play 2 divisions a year, and that rotates on a 4-year basis. You obviously play each team in your division twice. And then where you finish in standings, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th in your division, you play those corresponding teams for other divisions. So if you finish first, you play first place teams. Now, to figure out the schedule, teams can submit what they want, what they don't want. Okay? You look at this schedule. The 49ers never open early at home. Why? Because Levi's was built terribly. I like Levi's. It's what it is. But it's just terrible for 75% of the stadium. Just sitting there in the sun. If you haven't done it yet, you probably should do it sometime just because it's fun. So, the 49ers submit, look, we don't want early games at home unless they're primetime. And so now we're 5 consecutive years in a row where the first 3 weeks of the season, no home games, no early home games. We don't have it. And again, our first home game, it's a primetime game. It's late. Then you're on the road at Minnesota, on the road at Rams, then September 29th at New England. So late September, basically October, right? And teams also, Kyle Shanahan, he's notorious for this. He says, if you're going to schedule us East Coast games, schedule them back-to-back. And, same thing happened there. Not necessarily that Green Bay and Buffalo are East Coast, but they're going to stay out there. West Virginia or Ohio, those are the 2 spots where they stay, and they've stayed there in the past. So they'll go to Green Bay and play, probably jump over to Ohio and practice for the week, then go to Buffalo and play. So it's AI generated, but each team puts in, hey, if you can help us here, no early games. If you're going to schedule, we have to go to Green Bay. We have to go to Buffalo. Schedule some of these things back to back. I thought Miami and Tampa Bay would be back to back. That's not. And he's one of the guys that said, like, we don't mind Thursday games near as much because it's a mini buy after the fact. Kyle said that repeatedly. So, yes, it's AI. And yeah, they spit this formula out like crazy. And then there's team vetoes. And so teams can say, no, can you fix this? Can you fix this? That? On and on and on and on until they get something that kind of works for everybody. Now, every single schedule is going to suck some way for each team. The 49ers, for example, this year, they have the fifth most miles logged out of everybody. And I know that sounds bad. That's great. The 49ers have been first, second, or third in most miles traveled, I think, for like 3 or 4 consecutive years. So to be 5 is huge. And I think David Lombardi put this out. This is off the top of my head. So I apologize if I'm off on some of these numbers. But if you just look at the exact amount, so the Niners are traveling. Here we go. I just pulled up 500 miles this year. Last year they traveled 30,000. So that's 6,000 miles less this year in 2024 than last year. That's 6,000 miles. That's huge. That's 1/6 less travel. So yeah, fifth most traveling, that sucks. It's not good. But when you're a coastal team, it's what you're going to get, especially whenever you're NFC West and you're playing the AFC East. That's Miami. Yeah, that's New England. That's Buffalo. You're getting those games. So you're getting, New York at home. You're getting Miami's on the road too. So like that makes sense. Now, again, you put it into perspective and context with the rest of the NFC West, not too big of a deal because while the 49ers traveled the fifth most, Seattle Seahawks traveled the fourth most, more than us, and the Rams travel the sixth most. So you've got kind of a commonality there. There's no real divisional, advantage. So that's awesome. I love that. But Arizona, they're 13th most because they're shifted over so much, and a lot of teams are, Southern, but whatever. Now, whenever you look at time zones traveled back and all that stuff, the 49ers are third, 28 time zones covered in all their. That's a killer for me. If you fly East Coast back to the Bay Area, whew, and vice versa, that is a killer. That is just an absolute killer.